Hey, what's going on YouTube? Thank you for coming back to another episode of Scattered Brilliancy. My name is Travis, and let me turn my phone down so it doesn't go off. What's going on, y'all? I am here to do a play review, the first play review I'm going to be doing for my channel, and I'm going to be reviewing Tyler Perry's Madea On The Run. So let me go ahead and preface this video by saying if you don't like Tyler Perry, anything Tyler Perry, you might want to go ahead and turn the video off now, because I'm probably about to fan out a little bit. Alright, so we saw Madea On The Run last night, Saturday, April 23rd. We went to the 8 o'clock show at Evans Auditorium here in Charlotte, and my family and myself, we had a ball. To start off, our seats were amazing. When I found out that he was going on the road with the show, let me back up and say, I've been a Tyler Perry fan for a very long time. Not afraid to say it, not ashamed to say it. I remember being introduced to him through my mom. She used to travel back and forth to Houston, and when she would go to Houston, there was like this Christian store that played like Christian movies or something like that. And they always had on like one of his plays, like kind of as like a display. You know, that was back when his DVDs were like $65. But she came back one time. She was like, "Oh my gosh, Travis, you got to look at this play about this man that plays his grandma." And I'm like, I don't want to see that. I mean, what are you talking about? So the play was Madea's Family Reunion on VHS. And she started playing, and I'm like, what is this? Mind you, I'm in high school, so I'm like, what? This ain't interesting to me. But by the time I got to the end of the play, I was like, wait, that was good. Like, who is this guy? What does he do? And then from there, we just bought, the ones that he had out at that time. And then at that time, he had started touring again, and he brought Class Reunion to Charlotte, and we went to see Class Reunion. So from Class Reunion to now, I've seen probably like all but 3 of his plays live, and I've been to several of the DVD tapings that he's held in Atlanta. So I'm a fan, and I really enjoy the things that he do. The things that he does, and I try to support. I watch the shows on OWN and everything and all that kind of stuff. So I saw that he was going out on the road with Madea On The Run. I'm like, oh my gosh, I hope he comes to Charlotte this time, because he was supposed to come to Charlotte with Madea Gets a Job, and we had bought tickets for Madea Gets a Job, and then the show got canceled. So I was like, I really hope that he makes it, to Charlotte this time, because I ended up seeing Madea Gets a Job in DC, so the Charlotte thing didn't matter. So I was checking my email, and I just happened to see it was, because he originally, like, he's been on the road with this show for maybe like a year already, and the only city in North Carolina that he came to was Fayetteville. And I'm like, I ain't driving all the way to Fayetteville. That's like 2+ hours away from Charlotte. And so I got on my email at work, and it said tickets on sale now. I hopped on immediately. I called my mom and said, how many tickets we get? Because I'm about to buy these tickets now. And I had just gotten paid. And we got as close to the front as we could get. There were so many good seats available. So we were sitting orchestra right, row B and C. It was 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Because my stepdad is tall, he likes to sit on the end, and I like to sit on the end as well. So we were sitting pretty much right at the stage. The only issue I had about the venue and where we were sitting is the row in front of us was supposed to be a handicap accessible row. So I'm not one of those trifling people who will buy a handicap accessible seat knowing I don't have anybody in my party that's handicapped or needs that seat. So there were people on the row in front of us that weren't with anybody that was in a wheelchair, and I felt some kind of way about that. On top of that, the seat I was sitting in, there was empty. There was nobody in front of me. But the seat my wife was sitting in, that was the space for the wheelchair to be rolled up. So instead of there being a wheelchair, there was a lady sitting in a regular chair. Now, my issue with Evans Auditorium is that the regular chair that this woman was sitting in was higher off the ground than their stationary seats. So, and this lady had a little bit of extra cushion, so she was sitting a little bit higher, if you know what I mean. So my wife had to kind of watch the show to the side like this, but luckily we were on the right, so everything was happening that way. So, but all in all, we had such a good time. I had a headache last night because of how much my cheeks were hurting from smiling and laughing so much at this show. Now, I'm not going to give any spoilers away. I'm going to talk about the show, talk about what I liked, what I thought could be a little bit better, and just talk about the overall production in itself. Like I said, I've been seeing his videos and his plays for a very long time, so I knew what to expect. It wasn't anything surprising to me. So let's get into it. So Madea On The Run. So this show was about Madea is on the run from the cops again, and she goes to her friend Aunt Bam's house. I thought Aunt Bam and Madea were related at one point, but I guess not. So she goes to her house, and Aunt Bam's family is there, and she's just kind of fixing the issues within the family, like always. So let's tell you about who was in the play. So of course the play starred Tyler Perry as Madea. You had Cassie Davis as Aunt Bam. I'm gonna go through the program because I know I'm gonna forget somebody. We had Rhonda Davis. She plays Sherry. David Stewart Jr. as Noah. We also had Maurice Lochner as the Reverend, LaToya London from American Idol as Leah, Tasha Page Lockhart as Netta, Tony Hightower as Ruben, Claudette Ortiz from City High as October, and Dorsey Levens as Jacob. The music was just awesome. Awesome. That's a lot of people don't like that part about his plays. The fact is that, there's music, but that is one of the parts that I enjoyed the most. I enjoy the singing. I enjoy the overall musicality of it because his musicians are just amazing. And having played saxophone for as many years as I played, I love to hear good music, and I love to hear good singing. I don't consider myself a singer, but I do sing down when I'm by myself, if you know what I mean. But just the songs in the play were just amazing. The first song was I've been noticing that in a lot of his plays he kind of starts it off the same way. Everybody's kind of stationary on the stage singing a collective song about kind of just setting the mood for the show. And I don't know if this song was something that he wrote, if it was an old song. There's something about when the storm clouds rise and the thunder rolls, tell me my children where you gonna go. It's like God told Noah that it's gonna rain, and you best believe that the rain came. I guess it was just talking about faith. I'm not really sure what that song was talking about. Anyway, then the next song was I Love You Just the Way You Are, and that was sung by Tasha Page Cobb and LaToya London. And oh my gosh, it was a duet, and they sounded so good together. Gosh, they sounded good together, man. I know of LaToya because that season of American Idol was the last season that I really watched, and I voted for her and listened to her solo stuff that she put out afterwards. So I knew about her. Tasha Page Lockhart. Did I say Tasha Cobbs earlier? Because that's disrespectful because that's not the same person. Tasha Page Lockhart, I haven't known much about her, but I did read in the bio within the program that she won season 6 of Sunday's Best. And I never really watched Sunday's Best a lot just because I stopped watching a whole lot of singing competitions. But her voice is, how can I describe her voice? It's rich. She has a really rich voice, and the timbre and the tones in her voice, I was just like, oh my gosh, just sing a little bit more. That's what I need you to do. Just sing a little bit more. But their duet, the content of their duet was just so great. So great. And I know somebody needed to hear that. And I hope a lot of women, and if there were younger women in the audience, I hope they heard that and really got something from it, because the message in that song, Just the Way You Are, was just awesome. It was, they played sisters in the play, and so they were just kind of singing to each other about loving each other, just the way they are, flaws and all, despite whatever may not be perfect about the other. They love them, they love each other just the way that they are. And I was like, man, that song is awesome. So I can't wait for the play to come out on DVD, because I believe they've already shot the DVD. So I can't wait for it to come out on DVD so I can just, listen to the music, because I hope I shouldn't be telling y'all this, but what I've done is I started making my own soundtracks from the plays because that's how much I like the songs. So I'll put the DVD in my computer and pull the audio, and I'll make my own MP3 soundtracks, since he don't sell soundtracks anymore. Tyler Perry, you need to start back selling soundtracks, because some of us like that. That was probably my favorite song in the play, was that one. And David Stewart, he was in Medea's Neighbors from Hell. He played the mailman in that one. He is so funny, and he can sing. He can sing, and I loved his song. He had so much stage presence while he was singing his song. And what I liked about his performance for the song was that he didn't stay in just one area of the stage. He worked the entire stage throughout his song and made it he's very animated in general, but he just made the song very animated, but still drove home the message of just being thankful for everything that God has done for you. I can already tell this video is going to be long. What was the next song? Y'all just don't understand how much of a good time I had last night, man. Then there was a song called I Was Watching You. I'm not going to tell you what that was about, because that'll give away the storyline. Then It Was Never Said I Was Perfect. I Was Watching You was another duet sung by Claudette Ortiz and Rhonda Davis, and then Never Said I Was Perfect was also sung by Rhonda Davis. Reap What You Sow was another song that was sung by Maurice. And then, of course, they had to do the old school medley. So the set, I could tell that from the pictures in the book that they had to do a modified set, probably because Ovens Auditorium's height was not ideal for their set. So the second story wasn't a part of the play, but I could tell in the book that it is usually there. But the set overall was great. I love the design. It's always it always helps to make the play more effective in telling the story. The fourth wall was broken plenty of times, which I'm used to, so that was cool. The old school medley was so good. My mom was like behind me going like off when Tony Hightower was singing Wildflower. I was like, Mom, I need you to chill out, 'cause she was doing a lot. There was another lady in the audience who was doing a lot, and I really wanted security to come up and tell her she needed to be quiet because she was doing like the most. Like, it's okay, to have a good time, but when you loud and you like distracted other people, you can just turn it down just a little bit. But the old school medley was great. The best part about the old school medley though was that he stopped the old school medley to honor Prince. They turned the whole theater purple. They turned the set purple, and they sung Purple Rain. It was just magical. That's the best way to put it. It's crazy because when last time I saw Tyler in Charlotte, he wasn't in the show, but it was the haves and the have-nots came to Charlotte at Ovens Auditorium. And ironically enough, that was right after Whitney died. So I was telling my mom, do you realize like we've seen him in Charlotte right after a major celebrity has passed, and that's a little eerie. Whitney died that week and he came to Charlotte that weekend. Prince died this week. He was in Charlotte this weekend. So I was like, that was a little scary, but I thought it was such a nice tribute. Everybody in the auditorium was on their feet singing Purple Rain. Like, I'm pretty sure there was probably tears flowing too. It was a once in a lifetime experience. And like I said, the DVD has already been recorded, so I know that's not going to be a part of it. But I was just happy to be in the room, for that moment. And I just thought it was such a great thing for them to do to honor him. I just thought that was amazing. The play, the content of the play was not necessarily the same thing he's done before. He does do a lot of repeating themes and morals, but just telling them in a different way. Because, to be honest with you, you may not get it the first time. And you may need it to be told to you in a different way for you to actually receive the message. So, I know some people say that they weren't going to go to the show because he does the same thing over and over again. But I'm like, it's not the same thing. That he doesn't do the same thing over and over again. And I don't consider myself a stan for anybody. I'm only at 13 minutes. I don't stand for anybody, but I do support him, and I think that he's a good person to look up to. And so it does kind of irritate me when people talk bad about him when they're not fully informed about him and his craft and his work and what he's done. And I mean, just to get off the show and just to speak about him as a person, to think about where he's been in his life and to look at where he is now is an amazing testimony for anybody. Even if you don't like him, you gotta respect the work ethic that he's put in to get to the point that he's in now. To think that this man was homeless, living in his car at one point in time, to being in a theater with nobody in there, to selling out Ovens Auditorium and other other arenas and venues around the country, touring with these plays. He's done like 20 plus plays, and people are still packing these houses out. Like, that is amazing, and it is a true testament to following your dreams and making sure you don't let your dreams die. Now, there's something that I have to constantly always do when it comes to situations like these, because I love live entertainment, I love live theater, and I told you before, I do plays on the side, and Tyler Perry is the reason why I even started doing plays in the first place. Like I said, when my mom showed me Family Reunion, I was like all into gospel stage plays, well, his mostly, and I was like, oh my gosh, I would love to do that. And I remember I was in undergraduate school, and I saw an audition for a gospel stage play, and I went and auditioned, and I got the role, and I was like, yes, I'm doing it. And so, I still do plays now. The dream is, of course, to one day be in a touring production, to one day be on a national platform. But what I have to also always remind myself of is what's for me is for me. And I'm going to give this message to y'all on my YouTube channel, and you can do what you want with it. I think it's natural for us as human beings to always compare our walks and our stories with other people's. I feel like we always look at somebody else's situation and say, I want that to be me. I want to have that. And he even spoke on this a little bit in the play, talking about valuing what you have, not in the sense that I'm talking about, but just talking about being grateful and valuing what you already have and not trying to go after something that's not for you. And I say all that to say I have to constantly remind myself that even though I would love to be on that stage, even though I would love to work with him and do a show or a movie or a play with him, that may not be for me. And I need to just be grateful for the plays that I'm doing now. No millions of people don't know my name. No thousands of people don't know my name, let alone hundreds of people know my name. But I got to be grateful that, for one, I'm still able to do something. Because the way I look at it is I've had plenty of people tell me that they wish they could do what I do. And sometimes I think to myself, I don't do a lot. But to somebody else, it may be a lot. And I have to constantly remind myself, be grateful for the little that you're able to do, the little that you have, because there's somebody out there who wants just a smidget of what you have and who wants to accomplish just a smidget of what you've accomplished. And it may not be for you to be in front of millions of people. That may not be for you, because the one or two people that you need to touch may be the one or two people who are in that crowd of 10 as opposed to 100 people, if I'm making any sense at all. I just have to constantly remind myself of that. And, like I said, I want to do that. I would love to work with him, would love to do a show, a play, or something. I'm cool just being entertained, because I know that I am still getting a chance to act locally here in Charlotte downtown in plays. And, it's crazy because I think back to a play we did last year, and it was maybe only 150 people in the room, and people coming up to us at the end telling us how much we affected them and how much the play spoke to them. And just being reminded that you don't have to be in front of 1,000 people to inspire. One of my main things, I'm totally off track, and that's okay, because that's why it's called Scatter Brilliancy. My dream and my goal for myself is that I'm used by God to fulfill whatever the purpose is that I've been placed on this earth to fulfill. I want it to be that whenever I take my last breath on this earth, that whatever he set out for my life, whatever plan he put in place for me, that I've done everything I needed to do within my free will to accomplish that and to fulfill my purpose. We all kind of have a plan about what we are here for. Some of us know, some of us don't know, but we all kind of have an idea about what we want to do. And what we want to do may not be what God wants for us. But, my prayer is that my purpose is fulfilled. I know that one thing I love to do is I just love to inspire. I love to make people laugh. I love to make people think. That's why I started my YouTube channel back up. I did it in college, stopped it, and I got back on because I missed it. Because this was a free way for me to touch people. And, the few messages that I get from y'all really let me know that I am touching y'all. And I'm just so happy that I have somebody like Tyler Perry to look up to, who has constantly inspired me, constantly made me reflect on my life and the things that I may have been going through, and made me be grateful for what God has done for me and what God is going to do for me. I don't know what tomorrow brings. I don't know if I'll ever meet him. I don't know if I'll ever meet somebody else who will put me in a different position, but I'm just grateful that I have the opportunity to do plays. I'm grateful that I have the opportunity to talk to you. And I'm grateful that me and my family had the opportunity to go see Madea On The Run. It's supposed to be the last Madea show. Now, he said that before, and he's still doing them, so we'll see if this is actually the last one. But the tour is coming to an end. I know they're in Charlotte again today. They have 2 shows today. And I know next weekend they're up in Winston-Salem, where my wife is from. So, and they're in Virginia too. I think that might be the last weekend. So, if you're in the Virginia, North Carolina area and you haven't gotten tickets to go see the show, I encourage you to go get you a ticket to see Madea On The Run. You will have a great time. You'll be blessed. You'll be entertained. And you'll walk out better than you were when you walked in. And that's really what it's all about. Because, even if you don't get something that's going to completely change your life, laughter is an amazing thing to add, regardless of whatever your situation is. Even if your life is perfect, there's nothing wrong with getting a little bit of laughter, extra laughter than you already had. So, kudos. I went on Instagram and I told the cast, you know, I got 2 minutes left. Okay. I told the cast kudos to just doing an excellent job of being able to effortlessly entertain thousands of people and tell the gospel and inspire, because not everybody can do that. And they do it so effortlessly and they look like they're having a good time doing it. So, you know, to Cassie Davis, to Rhonda Davis, to David Stewart, to Maurice Lawton, Latoya London, Tasha Page Lockhart, Tony Hightower, Claudette Ortiz, Dorsey Levens, the band, y'all did a banging job. Elvin Ross is the composer. Ronnie Garrett is the musical director. What's his name? Not Michael. Mark Swinton as the assistant director. Y'all did a daggone thing. To the crew, the production people, the people that drive the trucks, to the concession people at Ovens Auditorium, even though y'all was real slow. Thank you so much for allowing us to have an awesome night in Charlotte at Madea On The Run. Go see it. Go see it. Make sure y'all like, rate, comment, and subscribe. And I'll be talking to y'all later. Peace.